say, Ruth, fellow Rotarians, it's like coming home here, because what you don't know is that I used to live in Florence Close all my life, and then I came back to the police station at Romford and was in Cumberland Avenue, and this was my home here, the railway. Even, you know, my dad was we used to come in here all the time. Plus the fact, of course, Hornchurch and Upminster Rotary Club is like coming home anyway, having visited you as an AG over the years. So, first of all, I just want to mention a few things about your particular club, and if I miss anything out, I'd like you to tell me about it. But first of all, start off about membership. We're always talking about membership, and all I hear when I'm going around the clubs, and this is my 28th club since the middle of July, I've actually heard people saying we need young people. Well, you don't always need young people. I'll give you an example. I sit as a chair in Basildon Court, and when you get to 70, you've got to pack up being a magistrate, and I always go straight to these people and say, do you fancy joining Rotary? One of which is Brian Wellman, who, as from last week, has agreed to be the district almoner. We haven't exactly worked out the role yet, but it was put as an idea to the district. I put the idea, and we're having a district almoner, and they will liaise with clubs. That's not to take over the responsibility for clubs. The other person I sat with a few weeks ago, who's a bit of a comedian, and that's what I like about people at that age also, they've got a lot of professionalism, a lot of ability and a lot of experience. And what happened was, we were sitting in court, we heard a not guilty plea, and we couldn't have enough evidence to actually convict them. And so we went back to the retiring room and we said, well, we can't do anything about it, there's not enough evidence here. So we went back, and this fella here, who's on his last speech of the day, the last time he's ever going to sit as a magistrate, and he said, stand up, Mr. Smith, he said, you'll be pleased to know we found you not guilty. So he went, okay, and he went to walk off. He said, come back, I haven't finished yet. We found you not guilty, but Mr. Smith, don't do it again. And I think people like that are the sort of people that we need in Rotary. So whether or not he will join, I don't know. I'm going to talk about membership and polio in a minute, but first of all, congratulate you on organising a 6-mile walk again. I understand in the past you've raised, Brian, 8,000 plus, haven't you?
Last year.
Yeah, that was good last year. You continue with Kids Out, which is I particularly I would support. The Havering Town Show, I know you work together, and the Old People's Christmas Party. Now every year we have an old Christmas party at the Cathedral Parish in Brentwood, and I've been eligible for that for a number of years. It makes me think about it every time Christmas comes along. You are going to get involved in youth again, and I noticed also that you're aiming to increase membership, it says, by 6. Have I missed anything important out which hasn't been mentioned so far, either by President or Brian or anybody else? Anything else I really should know about?
That's the
Okay, you will know now that Ron Burton is your RI President. A very, very nice person. When I met Ron Burton with Jetta in San Diego, the first thing he said to all 532 district governors like us was, the most important people in your life are your family. The second most important thing in your life is work. Now, having worked for 40 odd years, I don't think any boss has ever said to me the most important people in your life are your family and then your work. They might have put work before family. So I think Ron Burton has got it right. And he said, if you can manage Rotary, put that up a close third, please. He believes in engaging Rotary and changing lives, and as Ray's probably heard it 100 times already, if you fiddle about with the words, you can get engaged, change and Rotary lives, which is most important at the moment when we're talking about membership. He talks about the family of Rotary. I notice that you have friends of Rotary. Other clubs in the district have friends of Rotary, and it's a very good way of attracting members. So I won't go down that road because you've obviously got that correct. He also talks about the family of Rotary. So if you come to district council meetings, if you come to other meetings that I'll organise, then you'll find that I also invite Rotaractors and Interactors and other people outside of Rotary, including Inner Wheel, because I believe we should all work together as the family of Rotary. Now, I'm not going to talk about Rotary projects, because what you do in your club and what you receive from the chairs of the district, you will know what's happening around the district. I'll focus on membership and polio. 40% of all people that joined Rotary in 2009 left within 18 months. If you come to, I know some of you are coming to the council meeting on Saturday, you will find that Ron Burton is doing a 3-minute video, and in it he says, I joined Interact, I joined Rotaract, and then somebody invited me into Rotary. He said, nobody gave me a job, everybody talking in abbreviated terms or in acronyms, and so on and so forth. I got bored, he said, and I left within 18 months. So that just goes to prove about these people that are leaving. However, I'm your RI president, he says, so obviously I came back. But I'm just pointing out to you that a person that has now ended up RI president actually left Rotary because nobody looked after me in the first 18 months when I actually made it into Rotary. I think that's an important fact. We have at the moment 1.2 million members. By the end of the year, that's the end of June, Ron Burton would like to see 1.4 million internationally. In this country, we're 53 to 54,000, and a 5-year plan, which Ray mentioned earlier, our RIBI, that's Rotary International Great Britain, Ruth, in case I'm talking again in acronyms, they would like us to be up to 57,000. We recruit 100,000 people every year, and we lose, at the moment, 100,000 people every year. So, restructuring, which was mentioned earlier on. Restructuring around 22 zones. If you didn't know, the whole of the world is made up of zones. We are 17 and 18A, and 20 other zones, mostly in America and the Western countryised countries, we are losing members. So RI, Rotary International, are looking to put some plans together to reduce the number of districts. I'm not going to go into detail over lunch about what the idea is. It's partly to save money, it's partly to make the administration better, because districts haven't got enough clubs or enough members to make them a district. So 3 people from each club in our district have been invited by the assistant governors to a meeting, of facilitators coming in, and will ask certain questions of the individuals, put a report together, it will go to Rotary International Great Britain and Ireland, they will form a plan and then submit it to Rotary International, trying to preempt anything America might do from a distance. Like, we might want to talk about boundaries, county boundaries, about clustering clubs and things like that, which in America they won't know about unless we tell them. So it is important that you give your views. We are possibly in danger of either being broken up or getting larger, taking some other part, because Rotary International want to make the average district about 75 clubs and 2,500 people. We are at the moment at 59 clubs and 1,600, 1,700 members. The reason I don't know exactly is because clubs haven't put all their figures in yet. So we are a little bit way off. In the sort of questions and answers that Ray's got a copy of, I saw earlier, it mentions 60 to 120 clubs in a district. Well, that is the lowest end. Rotary International would like to see the minimum of 60 clubs in a district, up to 120, and when it comes to 120 it could be divided into 2 districts. That's what those figures mean. But what they would like is 75 clubs and 2,500 members, and we are quite a way off of that at the moment. I am actually a facilitator, and I naively went to Birmingham to become a facilitator, thinking I might get our own district to facilitate, and I've got Brighton and Dover at the moment. I've been to Dover. It took me about 4 hours to get there. It took me 2 hours to get to the Dartford Bridge, but that's another story. So I'm going to Brighton next Wednesday, and there are people there that are just like some of our Rotarians. Why do we need to do this? What a waste of time. Rotary International are going to do what they like. Well, if that's the feeling, then we are not going to progress. But it would be an idea to give the views and submit a report, and then we can't say we didn't have our chance to speak. My aim for membership this year, you want 6. I'm only asking you for 1 additional member from the 1st of July. Remember, I know Ian last year asked for 4, but he was jumping the gun because it's a 5-year plan, and that is 1 member per club over 5 years, making a total of 5. But as a result of last year, in fact, we did lose members, so we do need to try and build it up. Polio. You will appreciate, and for the benefit of Ruth, we have been putting into Rotary polio eradication for 25 years. Since the 13th of January 2011, we've closed that gap a bit, and in India there hasn't been a new case since that time. However, I've got to unfortunately report to you that the endemic countries are going down. That's Afghanistan, Pakistan and Nigeria, but unfortunately Somalia, Chad and Kenya suddenly sprung up with new cases. Only the level 1, you know, there's level 1, 2 and 3, which 3 being the hardest strain. 1 strain in those 3 countries, which has brought the total up at the moment to 132 this year, as from 2 weeks ago, as against 96 last year. So we do need to continue to put money into polio, and at the moment internationally we've raised £5 billion for the future, and they're looking for £7 billion by 2017. So it's possible we're going to get to the money that's required, and you will know that Bill Gates is a promise to put $2 in for every $1 that we put in to polio. I have not got, on that polio matter, by the way, when I was becoming a district governor, we had a multi-district meeting, and we decided 25 of us out of the 29 districts in this country decided to have a multi-grant. We got the grant of £87,000, and as from the 21st of October for 2 weeks, you should see buses passing up and down Hornchurch with polio. Rotary is curing polio worldwide, and a famous face should be on the advert. In my newsletter I didn't say who that was because I didn't want to preempt anything, but I will tell you, I can't promise, but we're looking at the moment of asking Andy Murray or David Beckham, so hopefully they will support, because I do know going around the clubs, a lot of clubs are saying we are raising £5 billion towards polio, etc, etc. We don't even get a mention. Well, but when Bill Gates was on the TV 2 weeks ago on an evening, I didn't see it, documentary, he didn't mention Rotary either.
He did.
Did he?
Oh, yes, very well.
I didn't see it, but that's what they're complaining. But okay, so we do need a higher profile anyway. I don't think you disagree with that. I haven't got a specific charity. I'm supporting foundation. I've got a badge here called a first class badge, which was given to me by Ron Burton. He asked all of us, the 532 district governors, to put in to foundation before we arrived in San Diego, and he then said come back and speak to all your team, and if they do it I'll get a badge each. And I'm going around trying to get badges at the moment for the presidents who are putting in individually. It doesn't have to be more than £5, it's just a one-off individual donation instead of a group donation to foundation, and that you will get a first class badge. So I'm pushing for that at the moment, and I can tell you, as from this week when I got a letter from Ron Burton, the total contribution so far under this initiative has raised $5,158,000. When I was in San Diego, for all the 532 district governors that put in, we raised $892,000. So it can be done on an individual basis, quite a lot of money. I will support RAGS, Rotary Against Slavery, as you know Harry Payne's pushing that, the Life Education Programme and the Thriftwood School Appeal, which is being supported or run by Billericay Mayflower, but attracts learning difficulties children from all over Essex, and I do know a lot of clubs are supporting those particular projects. I will partake in any silly project, or not necessarily silly, but a project, as long as I don't end up in A&E doing it. And so far, at this moment in time, I did a a sort of a breakout. You know those where you get on YouTube, and it will be on YouTube soon, where you suddenly, in the middle of the high street, you suddenly start dancing to music. And yes, well, I did a plea on behalf of polio in that, and so I'll send round to the President so they can download it from YouTube once it's there. This Sunday I'm doing a 24-mile bike ride round Foulness after starting the first lot off. Then I'm getting changed and putting my lycra on. And and I've also agreed to do, when you drive down the M11, the actual, you know, Harlow water tower doesn't look too bad, does it? Well, so I agreed to do an abseil, but when I got close to it, I wondered if I should have actually agreed to do that. I'm doing a 10k run for Chelmsford, and I'm going to do an act of some sort, which I haven't worked out yet, for Chelmsford Rivermead, who do a concert in the theatre in Chelmsford later on next year. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So if there's anything else, as I say, I did actually go to Malden, and I remembered as I was saying that they do a mud race, and as I looked round, the President was sort of making a note, and I said, and he looks at me and he said, "What about the mud race?" And I said, "No, I've got to draw a line there. I've seen the mud race, but I'll get somebody to do it." I hadn't asked my son at that time, but luckily he agreed to do it. He's joining Malden Blackwater, so he will be doing it as a Rotarian. Can I ask you to look at the Rotary International website? Everybody can, Ruth. Anybody outside of Rotary. It's just been revamped. It is worth looking at. And within it, if you can then go to Rotary Club Central, you put all your statistical matters on that. Some clubs are saying they don't want to do that, but I'm told that in 2 to 3 years' time, Rotary International will make it compulsory that everything has to go on Rotary Club Central. But also have a look at Rotary Showcase. That's rotary.org/showcase. It was launched on the 13th of July, and you can put everything you do in Hornchurch and Upminster on the Rotary Showcase, and you can also view what every other club does around the world if they put their details on it, and you can see what else you can do perhaps and some initiatives. So it's worth sort of showcasing your particular club around the world. Hopefully you've completed the forms Health and Safety, Equality and Diversity and Protection form. If you haven't, you need to get them signed and sent a copy to Bob Barclay. Before I finish, I'd like to say that on the 7th, I was asked by the AGs if I would make district council meetings more interesting, because they said that's why people don't turn up. So as from this Saturday, I am definitely making them as interesting as possible. We're having a magic breakfast, which is like Mary's Meals, but for young people who can't afford breakfast in the world. That's where the money will be going to. There's a talk by Leslie Williams on sex, drug and rock and roll. She is the equivalent this end of our district about on life education. She goes around primary schools talking about certain subject areas, and I understand she's quite funny. And there will be a talk from Rotaract, and I promise you, from now, the 4th of December and in March, all the reports will be kept short, so you won't be hanging about all day. I was asked to mention associate membership. I know you're going to be discussing it, but my wife has become an associate member of my club. When I went to be district governor, she said, "No, you're not." And then I worked on it and told her it's sunshines in San Diego. So eventually we went to San Diego. She got involved in it in San Diego, because if you don't, you get sent back home, because they're pretty strict, the Americans. And she came back, she's born again Rotarian, she's become an associate member, which means that she's got 2 years to think about becoming a full member. She pays dues, I know some clubs make up the dues, but it should be £25. And the only thing they haven't got is voting rights. Clubs say to me, should we give them full membership booklet and their badge and that? I say yes. Some clubs say no, because they're not full Rotarians. My wife received all the particular information books and the badges that any Rotarian would get. So I leave it to you how you want to work that one. But this morning after breakfast, and today is a pretty bad day for me, I'm doing breakfast, lunch and dinner at Westcliff tonight. So it's the only day I've actually got 3 meals to do. She said to me this morning, I definitely want to be a Rotarian when my associate membership runs out in 18 months' time. So there you go. There's an example from a woman that didn't particularly want to be involved with me in Rotary, and when she found out to be district governor, she almost left me. So she's now going to be a full Rotarian. So I would like you to increase membership by 1. As many people as possible make a contribution to the foundation. If you could, individually. Consider supporting RAGS, Thriftwood School Appeal and the Life Education Programme. Work towards obtaining the RI President's citation. I did give a copy to all the presidents. I would like to come and give you a certificate at the end of my year. And one club said to me, what do we do with them when we get them? Well, I can't answer that, can I? I'll just give it to you. But my philosophy is enjoy Rotary. I'm not interested, now I'm back on General Council, which I didn't think I would be, but as you know, I won't go through the history of NAC, but I am now on General Council. We all enjoyed General Council because all the district governors like me thought they weren't going to be on it. So we decided to make General Council more exciting. And I've got to tell you, even though Birmingham on a Sunday afternoon and a Monday morning is appeal to most people, I really did enjoy General Council. And if I have to need a psychiatrist, then fair enough, but I can assure you I enjoyed it. So I'm going to enjoy Rotary because I don't like rules and regulations, I just want to enjoy it. So I hope you do. Thanks.
Jim, question.
Can I just ask one question, please? You mentioned that 100,000 join and 100,000 leave each year. Of those that leave, how many are carried out in the box?
How many?
Are carried out in the box. Yeah.
Oh yes, I don't exactly know the answer to that.
I think that should be made known.
Well, I did know it's a percentage, but it's not as big a percentage as you like to maybe think it is. It is generally people that left because they've either not been mentored or they haven't really understood what Rotary is or they haven't been looked after. But it is a high percentage, I grant you, yes, yes.
Well, fellas, anybody else point to mention to the district governor? Well, I don't know about you, but I found that very interesting, uplifting. It's certainly motivation is behind it all. The two words I think that stick out most from what you said is enjoy Rotary. We enjoy Rotary. If we enjoy Rotary, we can motivate ourselves to do more to help the Rotary movement. Any other business from anybody? Right, can I remind you of the apologies book, the website, the menu, which next week is hot and cold buffet because we have a speaker. If anybody doesn't want hot and cold buffet, just bring a packet of crisps. But if anybody's got anything specific, I mean the buffets here are, I think, superb. I've had no complaints about any of them yet, but if somebody wishes something different, Christine is the lady to talk to and she will accommodate you in a usual, inimitable style. Can we please be standing for the final toast? Rotary and peace the world over.
Throughout the world.
And have a safe journey home, fellows.